All right, video instructions for constructing your optical illusion cube. So for this project, I did use two 9x12 sheets of paper to create the cube. Traditionally in past years or for future, it may be on a 12x18 where it's all together in one piece. But for this particular demo, it's in two pieces. So there's an extra step of combining it and putting it together. So to start with, let's pretend that these have designs on them and you're finished and you're ready to put it together. One thing I did notice is that I forgot the tabs on one of the boxes. So I went ahead and added that. And if it's not too late, I would suggest adding some tabs here. If it's too late to add tabs, you can always cut some extra paper and make tabs and glue them to the back of this. So it would be like a double tab. It would be attached to this, and then this one that you have all one piece, attached here, and then this part would attach to the next paper. All right, so first thing I need to do is cut out my template. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that out. All right, so let's start talking about attaching these together now that it's been trimmed and it's ready to assemble. Before I attach this to make a cross pattern, I'm gonna go ahead and to make it easier to fold my cube, I'm going to score all the places that I'm going to be folding and constructing my cube. So something that's really helpful is a tool called an awl, which is a bookbinding tool, but it's used for scratching the paper, which is known as scoring the paper. So it's gonna scratch into the paper just a little bit, enough that when I go to fold it, it's gonna get a nice fold. Because if you've ever tried to fold thicker paper, it wants to resist a little bit. So to help with that, you're gonna need a ruler and an awl tool. And it's just, a little bit sharp. If you're working from home and, you probably don't have one of these things, I'm thinking that you could probably use maybe like a metal fork, maybe like a safety pin or a paper clip, anything that has a little bit of a point to it. So I'm gonna take my ruler, and I'm right-handed, so I'm holding my ruler with my left. And wherever I'm planning on folding the paper, that's where I want to go ahead and score it. So it's not going to divide it. Like I said, it's just scratching into it. So you're probably not even going to see it. So just kind of be aware of which lines you've added in, or, which areas you've already scored. So 2 here, fold here. And you don't have to outline your boxes with the Sharpie. I just did that so that you could see my box a little bit better on the white paper. So I should have, all of these should fold pretty easily. So as you can see, it should be pretty effortless because I've scored it. And you just don't want to, score it so much that the paper ends up ripping. So really it's not about like tearing through it. So depending on what object you use, to score it, if you don't have an awl, just make sure it doesn't cut through the paper. So I'm just kind of folding my cube and all the tabs. All right, so now I'm ready to attach the 2 of these and then begin constructing my cube. So to make this into a cross pattern, that's essentially what you want to start with, a lowercase t or a cross. I'm going to start with glue, and Depending on where you're working, I always keep scrap paper available so that if I get glue on the surface, it's no big deal. You know, cleanup's a lot easier. So with glue, it is possible to over glue, so less is more. And another thing I like to do is just a little bit and then kind of spread it out. If you don't want to touch it with your finger, you can use a foam brush. These are great for that. And like I said, less is more. You don't want to saturate it so much that it's like wrinkling everything. But you don't want to be so light on it that it doesn't hold either. You can use stick glue, but I don't think it holds up as well, just so you know. Apparently my foam brush is a little dirty because it's leaving some little flakes. Oh well. Okay, so I'm going to attach the two together. And just kind of hold it in place for about 30 seconds. Really, it just needs a little bit of pressure, and then giving it time, it'll attach. So the next thing I'm going to do is add glue to my first two tabs to get this side of my box. So these two tabs now. Just trying to get a little glue out. Start with this one. I'm just going to kind of hold it in place. Since I have access to the inside of my box, I can kind of hold it from the inside, but really you just line it up, hold it for about 20-30 seconds, and then it should hold. I just kind of do one at a time. And hopefully your measurements are pretty accurate. Do the best you can. Sometimes that happens where the measurements are slightly off. Fold over this side. I mean, depending on what order you do it in, I don't think it's, you know, I think you can definitely accomplish the same thing in a different order. So I'm going to go ahead and add some glue to these tabs here and do it a little bit quicker than I normally would if this was a keep project instead of a demonstration project. Let's pretend I put lots of glue, right? Well, not lots, but, you know, enough to hold it. Okay, and then I would just hold that there. Just apply a little pressure. Same on this side. Just kind of taking the side of my foam brush and applying some pressure to the inside instead of sticking my whole hand in the box. Okay, and then the top of the box, add a little bit of glue, and you should be able to have a cube sculpture. And what's cool, if you wanted to, let's say, have this like hanging from the ceiling, or, you know, another area, you could take like a string, tie it, and then loop it through there, and then close it, and then you know, your cube could hang, or maybe you attach the string inside here, and then it just comes through one corner, so it's on a single string. So just thinking about how you want your sculpture to be viewed. You know, is it sitting on a surface, or is it hanging from somewhere? And so since I have the glue, I'm just going to kind of apply some pressure. Try not to press it too hard because it is paper. And you should have a cube. All right, hopefully this video was helpful.